Hey everybody, it's This Week in Startups, and I am Jason Calacanis, your host, and we have a very new segment, and I'm very excited about. It's called the SendGrid Startup of the Week. What is the concept here? The concept is I go on AngelList every week, and I pick the startup that is the most interesting, the startup that is getting the most followers, the startups that are trending. AngelList is obviously a great proxy for finding this stuff, and I found a great company today called Proven, and we're going to meet the founders in just a minute. But before we do, I want to tell you about our sponsor. This is the SendGrid Startup of the Week. SendGrid was gracious enough to support this program and to feature entrepreneurs and companies that are just starting out, right? Because those are the ones that need most of the support. And SendGrid is just a great company that supports actually a lot of these startups, as you know, because they're the industry leader in the delivery of transactional emails. And you say, wow, Jason, that's a lot of buzzwords, delivery of transactional emails. What the hell does that mean? Well, these guys know what it means. That's registration confirmations, password reset notifications, the essential emails that you need to get through as a startup. And this is all SendGrid focuses on, making sure the essential emails get through. And you know who uses them? Folks like Foursquare. Oh, I've heard of them. Used them today. FormSpring, Hootsuite, SlideShare, all the big companies use them, all the little companies use them. Their API makes custom integration easy, and they've got a great analytics dashboard. So you know, hey, these things are getting delivered, these aren't. Maybe there's something you put in your copy that's causing a spam filter to go off. All that kind of important stuff that, frankly, you need somebody dedicated to that. And you're not going to hire somebody dedicated to making sure transactional emails go through. That's what SendGrid does. Their free plan lets you send 200 emails a day for free. So you can try it, play with it, make sure it's to your liking. I guarantee you, you'll love it. And if you need to start these transactional emails, go to SendGrid.com and don't chance it. Because if your users, if you don't get the password reset, and they have to go to their spam folder to find it, which I had to do for a major site that wasn't using SendGrid, I just felt like, my God, I've just lost all respect for this brand. They can't even send me my password reset without it being in my spam folder. Disaster. It just counts way against you in the mind of consumers, but SendGrid will solve that problem. The leader in transactional emails. Thank you, SendGrid, for sponsoring this new segment, this new episode each week, the Startup of the Week. So with me, Sean Falconer. Sean Falconer. Faulkner. Yeah. But it's spelled Falconer. Yeah. So are your parents literally Falconeers, or do you just have an awesome name?
I wish they were, but yeah, it's just an awesome name.
I feel like you might actually be a superhero in disguise. You've got this quiet manner about you, this chiseled, you look like Superman.
Thank you.
You're like Clark Kent over here with a name. Now it's not pronounced Falconer, but it's Falconer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Welcome to the program, Sean and Pablo Fuentes. You are Sean's co-founder.
Indeed.
You started this company together. It's proven.com, Proven.com.
That's correct.
That's a great domain name.
Thank you so much.
Let me tell you something. That's a $15,000 domain name minimum. How much you pay for that domain name? Let me just say, where am I? I'm too high, too low?
Let's say we got it for a little bit less than we thought it was worth. It's worth quite a bit.
It's worth a lot.
Yeah.
But am I in the zone?
It's good name recognition. You're in the zip code, a little bit low, but
I'm a little low. Yeah. Maybe it's 25 or 30. Yeah. It's a great domain name.
Thank you.
6 letters. How did you get it? Who had it? Some dude had it, or was it a broker?
Yeah, it was a Canadian company that was like a one-man shop that did some web development and. Yeah.
How'd you just call what happened? You called the guy on the phone?
Yeah, we just negotiated the transaction. The guy was in Ontario, and yeah.
You just called him up and said, "Hey, I got an idea for a startup. Is there any way I could buy this?"
Yeah, that's how it started.
How long did it take?
Protracted.
I mean, entrepreneurs want to know about
first
this.
Call to close, probably 3 months?
Really? That one?
2 months?
I thought it was faster.
No, yeah, no.
Wow. But you had other domain names you were thinking of using.
Yeah, we had a few.
So you probably had Proven something or Get Proven.
Yeah, we wanted
Proven
something that was really memorable.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, right? At the same time, it means that you have to really do some severe SEO efforts to make sure that when people Google Proven, which now when you do, we do show up number 1.
Of course. Now you have the .com. Of course you're going to be number 1.
Yeah, but at the same time, initially, because of the dictionary word, a lot of other things show up ahead. So.
Let me ask you a question. You come into a meeting, and you guys are on AngelList, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
That's public knowledge. You must be meeting with angels. In fact, you're meeting with one right now. But not under the auspices of investing, but that could happen on the show. It has happened before.
Wow, all right.
When Proven... when you come in with that kind of a domain name, do people take it more seriously? Do you feel?
I think The place where it helps more is with customers and with users. It's something that really carries a certain weight, and it's really easier to remember. I don't know. I mean, I think there's
Do the angels bring it up though, like good domain name?
Yeah, they do mention that it's a good domain name.
Yeah, we hear that consistently.
I think that's just awesome that you took the time to do that and spend the money. A lot of entrepreneurs think that's not worth the 25
Yeah, Fred
grand.
Wilson actually had a really good post about that, about the importance of that. It was probably about a year ago or so.
Right.
And I think it does matter. It's a brand that you're building, and especially when it's something that really gets people, gets people's trust in what you're doing up. That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's see the product. Tell me, before we actually show the product, why did you build it? What was the inspiration? Either of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really passionate about connecting a demographic that's never really been addressed by technology startups with jobs. So we're talking about folks in service industry, blue collar jobs, manufacturing jobs, and lower level white collar jobs. So basically the folks that get jobs on Craigslist. And I'm a first generation immigrant from Chile, and for me it's really exciting to help people portray themselves and get jobs in a way that's the most efficient for them. Right now there's a lot of inefficiencies around getting jobs in these areas. And really until recently when most people have smartphones, the actual use of PCs in this demographic was fairly low.
Right.
And now there's huge opportunity with that, and we're really excited to do that.
So I work in produce, or I'm a wait or a busboy or a dishwasher or a mailroom person, and I have 2 or 3 jobs a year typically, or maybe I change jobs every year.
Turnover is 80 to 100% in these industries.
Per year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to basically have 2 jobs a year is what that's saying on average.
Yep.
And I don't have a computer, and I need to make a resume, and I go to Kinko's typically, or I have some outdated one, or I don't have one.
About some of the folks
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have resumes. Sometimes they are outdated, but typically where they do get a couple jobs a year, they definitely have a resume. It might not necessarily be the best portrayal of like what they can do. Might have spelling errors.
Yeah, they might not be the best at using Microsoft Word, and this stuff gets counted against people unfairly, right?
Yeah, and there's even simple things like it being an obscure format where it's in a WordPerfect format, or it's in a Microsoft Works format.
Oh my God!
It's software that has been around for 10 years, and then no one can read it, and they don't even know that.
Right.
So basically,
how did you guys learn all this? You did research and you went down to
get out of the building. Just get out and talk to people in their environment. We actually strongly believe the equation that we use is 15 minutes in front of a user in their environment, watch them use the product equals 10 hours at the office talking about it and whiteboarding.
So what do? You put out an ad on Craigslist saying, do you do this stuff, and we want to do a focus group,
or
we'll give you $25?
No, we actually don't do focus groups because we find that people tend to feed off of each other a little bit too much and posture about
So listening
things.
labs.
We go to, so an example is I tell people I'll meet them at any coffee shop of their choice, where they would normally apply for a job, because that's their environment, right?
Sure.
And that reduces the bias they have if they come to our office and they want to please me to tell me whatever I want to hear. And then you watch them play with our product, or in the case of employers, watch them play with a product in their computer, or watch them play with a product in their smartphone. And it's about like how they breathe, like how they react to different things, and like the emotional connection they have with the product, and how they hand you the phone back. And that really matters.
So let's see the product. Yeah, show me. I'm looking right now as what?
What you're looking at is a screen of what an employer would see once they post a job out to a service like Craigslist, for example.
So I see a bunch of candidates in the main column.
So they have,
and the job, is that the job up top there?
Yeah, so this one had 374 applicants the last time they posted it.
Isn't that the problem though? You put something on Craigslist, you just get too many people today?
You get a ton of them. Right.
And you need to filter them better.
Yeah, that process of going from the 374 to the short list of 68 that they put together, that takes probably about 4 or 5 hours.
So somebody had to go through those 300 and check off, these are people who we feel are qualified, narrow it down to 68.
Yeah, absolutely. Or sometimes it's fewer than that. Sometimes it could be 20.
So this is like a really good content management system, or a candidate management system.
Yeah, candidate management system for people who
is that what it's called? Is that an industry term?
Applicant tracking system is an industry
term. I like
term.
Candidate management system. You should take that. CMS.
The cool thing about this is that this is not, so there are very big applicant tracking system companies like Taleo, or like Jobvite would be a newer generation of that, or Connect.
Or the Resumator.
The Resumator is probably a little bit more similar to what we're doing, but with that more toward
more
toward the enterprise.
Yeah, we use the Resumator.
This is more for non-professional hires, for people who are the restaurant managers manager, the manager
Got
at the grocery store. And most
Yeah.
of these places have between 50 and 100 employees, and the person making hiring decisions is the same person that's running around on the floor.
So they're busy.
They're very busy.
Yeah,
they don't
so-
have the time to really look through all their emails, which they would take a Saturday afternoon to do that. And now it would take them about 15, 20 minutes to do that, because we give them the heuristics about exactly the things that matter to them, like which is
So
where
you're
somebody
really the
works.
UI here has been done well, because you're scrolling down and hovering
Yeah.
over
Right.
each of the places they've worked. Oh, okay, they worked at Nordstrom, and you see for
Yeah.
how long and what
Yeah,
position.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't have to drill
Exactly.
down and do hunting and pecking.
Right, and
Yeah.
even if it matters a lot to small businesses whether somebody worked at a place that is like theirs. So then, is this place like mine? Well, I have no idea. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to launch a Google search for a great harvest bread in Skokie, Illinois. So
So
what
you're
is
just
that?
saving you're saving a click.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
saving, but they add up, right? Because
Yeah.
then you times 300,
Yeah.
times 5 work experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, is this place? It looks like it. Maybe. So I'm going to put, classify them as a maybe right here.
Yes, no, maybe. Boom.
Right.
Keep moving.
And just really keep moving and really keep going on the.
And I noticed
application.
there's you have photos of people. So are they logging in with Facebook or something, and you're grabbing that photo?
They're,
Is that the
they're actually
workflow?
they're logging in themselves.
So they're creating a profile.
They're creating
Yes.
a profile. They're augmenting. So the way that they present themselves to employers. So they have a cover letter talking specifically about this particular job. And they add their education, specific skills and interests and things that they want to do. So this really gets to the heart of what we're trying to do, which is help these people really represent themselves.
Now, what about the
professionally.
showing the photo? Is that a controversial decision because there could be bias? Oh, and
We have heard that, and it
because
is,
employers do have to worry about that.
yeah, it is a configurable thing, but it's not really any different than like LinkedIn using a profile picture and
Or people
using
coming
that
in
for-
for an in-person interview.
Yeah, and the reality is that for people that hire today, they're probably going to check your Facebook profile, your Twitter, and all those other things.
They're going to look for you anyway.
Yeah, they're going to look for you anyway.
But if statistically, you guys probably would have some insights into this. Do people smiling in their photos get more maybes or yeses? Do white people or brown people or black people for certain positions get more yeses or nos? I mean, there is statistics that you guys could actually start to track here. How attractive a person is. I mean, there's some studies that more attractive people get better jobs. People who are overweight get 6% less in terms of salaries. There's all these crazy statistics out there. And with a tool like this, you can start to track it.
for people to put pictures up, so
Yeah.
we don't make it mandatory, and
Right.
it's something that some people choose to do.
Right.
And we think that's it really helps them showcase their personality, and it's something that they don't have to do. I mean, there's plenty of people.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
just thinking.
list
I wonder
that
if there's
are-
an opportunity if I'm the person hiring, to make sure that I have diversity or make sure there isn't bias
Yeah.
from a particular manager. If
there's
I have
definitely
5
is.
managers looking, and one of the managers picks all pretty girls of a certain race, and the other managers pick a diverse group of people, maybe that manager really needs to, have a talk like, hey, stop picking hot chicks to put in the cashier position.
Well, we're all about transparency, so
Yeah.
anything that helps make the job process
Yeah.
more transparent and better for the applicant, we're fans of.
Yeah, I mean, this is how people use your tool, not your tool. But
Right.
Yes.
certainly technology
And if
makes
you think about it-
statistics emerge in trends.
Yeah. And if you think about it, instead of having to open each attachment, you just go next right here.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the next person, and then I scroll down and look at their experience, and you classify them and go next and so forth. So as you can tell, this person right here uploaded examples of something that they made.
Sure.
And this takes the process down significantly for these small business employers.
Now, what about making? I mean, you said it was mobile, so you have some mobile.
Yeah, we have an
mock-ups?
HTML5 version of that. Actually,
Yeah, let's see.
Do you have that in your phone?
Will
No.
you show me the mock-ups? I know you had the
Yeah.
mock-ups.
Oh well,
here.
so that's for the candidate side.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
see that.
So
Yeah.
So you can create a profile
On the
basically,
web or
on the
on a
web
phone?
or on the phone.
The
And
phone sounds much more interesting than you said earlier.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
we basically make it easy by harnessing your existing resume.
So if I have a LinkedIn resume, you're going to pull it in? Is that?
Well, right now we work with just conventional resumes, but LinkedIn is definitely something that we're
You can
looking
email it in or something, or scan
yeah,
it in.
You
or-
upload it from your mail. Probably.
Yeah.
no problem. So show me how this works.
Yeah, so if you were to look for like your recent searches, so most people will look for a few different categories of jobs.
Sure, I'm a bartender, I'm a chef, whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
So then
dishwasher.
you would say this person for bartender, so it shows you all the latest listings
Wow.
for the particular geography and the job that I want.
That's much nicer than going on to Craigslist.
Yeah, and then you find, okay, here we go. Here's a job post for bartenders,
Yes.
and we can say, okay, I'm going to click the apply button, and that shows me the resume that I'm currently sending.
Right, just to confirm you didn't send the wrong one.
Right, and then
because you might have multiple, right?
Yeah.
Right, you might have multiple.
I might have a bartender one and a waiter one.
And yes, and that's one of the things we're going to keep continuing to do is give the candidate flexibility to submit different resumes to different jobs. And then you can choose a file format, or you can be as PDF, you can be as email and text. Email text, I'm sorry, because a lot of employers require you to send it in the body of the email, exactly to get around the problem that we're solving, or both.
Right, they don't want to open attachments and get viruses.
Yes.
Right. And then you tap to add a cover letter, and there you can either have a saved cover letter that you alter on the go, or you can create an existing one.
Right, sure.
And then that takes you to, you write your cover letter. And this is something that people do on the bus, or whenever they're like hanging out.
At a cafe.
Yeah, this cuts into what we call Angry Birds time. Basically, like people coming in and
much more
out
productive.
and
I like that, Angry Birds time.
Yeah, and this then shows you that it'll send this to the employer, saying, here's I am interested in.
You can
job.
send the whole thing by email.
Right, via email, and then you get.
Would it also automatically put it into their? So this is if I want to apply to something on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And I can just shoot it to my email. But if they had posted this on your service at proven.com, then it would just automatically be in their applicant tracking system.
Yep, absolutely.
Their ATS.
Absolutely. And then you can see right here, you can go back and say, you can save different jobs. So if I were to go to a job and start it, it would show up in my job, and you can show the job application.
I assume in later versions you'll be alerting people to jobs in their neighborhood that just opened up, or their category or tags.
Or even doing geographic tools to figure out where you're close to, like where do you like to go, and like is this person hiring? And there's a lot of things that we can do. And again, it's impossible for us to imagine a world 5 years from now where there won't be a company that is the employment identity for this Craigslist crowd, and we're going to be that company that really helps people have that mobile employment identity and makes their life easier in terms of finding the right job.
What about in terms of qualification? Can you add a qualification level to this, or have you thought about that? Where, let's say I was doing a cashier, and I wanted to do some simple math questions, or I was doing a bartender and I said, please answer this 5-question quiz of what's a mojito, what's this, what's in a white Russian versus a black Russian.
In the industry, there are a number of tools that do that kind of pre-screening. It really depends. I mean, there's a pretty steep drop-off that we've measured for people actually filling these out. Because the perception from the employer is that if anybody really wants my job, they'll do this. The problem is that from the perspective of the applicant, they're doing 100 of these.
So it's really a friction problem. Like, if you can make it easier for applicants to apply to more jobs, as simple as possible, then they're going to do it. That's why Craigslist is so popular, because most of the jobs you're predominantly just sending an email with a resume attached.
It's so fast and lightweight. But if I am running a bar and I want to have somebody who will show initiative, it might be great to have somebody who's willing to take 3 questions and take the time to answer 3. I know when I use the Resumator, we added 1 question like, why are you perfect for this job, in like 3 sentences or less. It's like really hard for people to answer. And if somebody doesn't take the time to answer the question, we just do not look at their resume, because we want to filter, because we get too many.
People
too many
definitely
people want to work at the company.
People require things like cover letters, and they basically call everybody who doesn't submit a cover letter.
Is that a good practice in your mind?
I think it depends on whether you're getting the demand that you want. You can also basically tailor demand on how specific and generic you write your job post too. It depends really on how flexible you are with requirements.
Self-selection with that.
So if you write a longer job post with a lot of requirements, you're probably going to get less candidates, because it's going to scare certain people off.
Right. So people have been doing that forever. We're looking for people with these 20 qualifications, and nobody has that.
Exactly.
What the employer is trying to do there is maybe scare you a little bit and say, hey,
But generally what we found, especially with people using our employer side where they can quickly go through candidates and we solve a lot of the problems around the filtering issue, is that they rather have more applicants because it gives them more options. There's always this idea that there's a diamond in the rough there. If I have 300 people, and you're doing something that inadvertently cuts it down to 50, then
you might have
lost
the Michael Jordan,
exactly,
the best possible
people
player
love
in that group,
to think about their candidates like that. It's a lot like dating sites. In dating sites, people only date a handful of people, but they love the idea of having 300 people who are...
You want to increase it. So is this your first startup for you guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's our
And were you
first
part
company.
of an accelerator or incubator?
So 500 Startups is an investor in us, and we've worked very closely with them. But we actually,
You weren't part of the
we
incubator.
were not part of the incubator.
But Dave McClure likes you guys, or
Dave
Christine?
McClure is a yeah. Dave and Christine are fans of the company,
Yeah.
and we're fans of them. They're fantastic, and
Awesome.
yeah, we're big fans.
And on AngelList, you guys have done tremendous in terms of getting a lot of followers.
Thank you.
What's that experience been like? And
It's
has it
been
helped?
great.
Have
It's
you
been
met
great.
people through it?
Yeah, it's been great. So I know Brendan Baker, who was early on there, and what the product that Naval and the team have built is fantastic.
Yeah.
In terms of making it accessible and easier to reach out to folks.
Have you met angels through there?
Yeah, absolutely. We've
Have you
met
had an angel
angels.
commit to
Yes.
investing?
Yep.
Yes.
We have.
Wow.
Yeah, we have.
And how much did you pay AngelList for that?
0.
And how much are you going to pay AngelList for that service?
Oh, I would love to give Naval a high five and buy him dinner.
But seriously, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
I mean, AngelList is just so incredibly powerful for
It is.
you guys as entrepreneurs.
It is.
How do you think they should get compensated, or would you be opposed to compensating them in some way? Because I had Naval on the program, and we're friends.
Yeah.
And I said to him, like, there's no compensation going on here, but I think the entrepreneurs themselves would love to compensate you in some way. If Naval asked for a voluntary quarter point, just 25 basis points, if you had success, and it was your option to give between
Yeah.
10 basis points and no more than 50 basis points, would you voluntarily do that?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much would you give Naval? Between 10
Yeah,
and 50 basis points?
a quarter point sounds good. I mean, I think it obviously has to be correlated to success, right? I don't know.
Right, that's why optional and
We've
post.
been, we've been extraordinarily lucky, and we've had some fantastic investors I don't know what the average experience is in terms of folks going on there, and I'm sure Naval has some metrics around that. But if you use the tool to really attract high quality capital and folks that otherwise you wouldn't have met, that have a lot of expertise. I mean, I just got off the phone with an investor today that has a tremendous amount of expertise in exactly the kinds of markets that we're attacking. I would have never found him, ever, if it wasn't for AngelList.
It's transformative.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it completely changes the game.
You guys worry about the market and the bubble bursting, like first-time entrepreneurs. You're in the angel funding process.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you have some good success already. So you're partly through that process,
Yeah.
let's assume. Are you guys worried that something very bad could happen, like Europe collapsing or whatever? We hear these things in the news. Are you worried, or do you feel like it's not a bubble and you can just take your time, honestly?
I think...
And you can both answer honestly.
I think races are won by keeping your eyes on the road, not putting your eyes on the wall.
Right.
So those are
You're not
factors-
worried about
those
those
are things
factors.
we can't control.
Yeah.
The only thing we can control, and the only thing that's been consistent through our history as a company, is we do the right thing, and good things happen to us because of our results and our traction.
Right. But you can focus on getting this round closed quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
do
I
you
think we
think?
definitely want to get the round closed quickly, but I don't think it's something that drives Pablo or I to do anything really. I mean, the reality is that what drives us is that we love what we're doing, and we want to build a big company that's going to change an industry.
If you guys are successful 5 years from now, what will be true? What one thing will be true for each of you? What's your biggest hope that you'd like to have? What statement would be true 5 years from now if you've done the
As a
best job
company or
possible?
personally?
No, as a company, yeah.
Okay.
I think as a company, I would like to see our company be like the de facto way that people in the service industry, blue collar, and lower and white collar are getting jobs.
Become the standard.
Yeah, and proven's a household name.
Because I mean, the same
How about
way.
for you?
Yeah, I would echo that. The same way that LinkedIn is a standard today for white collar jobs, technology jobs, finance jobs, being that resource, the go-to resource for really what ends up being the engine that makes America tick, which is this workforce, and really worldwide, the workforce that makes the world go. To be the de facto mobile identity for these people to get jobs, that would be terrific.
Pablo and Sean, I wish you great success in your
Thank you so much.
entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you.
This is a great start. Fantastic domain name.
Thank you.
Great market.
Yes.
Seems like great founder chemistry. So like check, check, check. Big market and great execution so far.
Thank
And the domain name's part of that. So when I look at something, I generally say, how good are the founders?
Yeah.
How good is the market? And how good is the execution, the idea?
Yeah.
And on all three of these, I give you guys, well, I don't know you guys, but now I know you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you A+ on the market, A+ on the execution. And in terms of guys, you seem like you're pretty solid guys. I think you're going to be very successful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us and for your
Yeah.
interest. And
Yeah.
we hope.
Everybody check out proven.com. And if you are an angel investor, go to angel.co/proven.com. By the way, AngelList is in no way associated with this podcast in any way, the show.
Yeah.
I just thought that would be the best way for me to pick the most promising companies.
Yeah, it's actually angel.co/proven.
Oh, angel.co/proven, yes, PROVEN. Check that out. And that is not a general solicitation if you are a non-accredited investor until 90 days from now when crowdfunding is allowed. And then, of course, I don't know what the SEC...
Go and evolve.
Yeah, listen, if the SEC is going to arrest me for trying to help entrepreneurs, guilty as charged. But if you are an accredited investor, you should meet with these guys. And what's your Twitter account? Oh, Hire Proven. There you go. Everybody follow at Hire Proven, PROVEN. And thank you so much to SendGrid for supporting this new innovative program that we're doing where we're highlighting first-time entrepreneurs with their first company and really helping them get a great start and some exposure. I really appreciate it to my friends at SendGrid. And if you'd like to thank them, go ahead and thank at SendGrid on Twitter. And go ahead and try them because 200 free emails a day in transactional emails is a good idea. We'll see you next time on This Week in Startups. Thanks, SendGrid.